Hello, we're here again. I know. I don't know. What else do you say but hello? I mean, I'm talking to a bunch of people who, well, I'm getting to understand, to know a bit, to pray over. Yeah, I don't see many likes or stuff, but I know people are looking. It's an odd view here and there, but then I know that I'm sitting on Facebook and it's going places. Mm. I might get it into other things eventually, we'll see, but at this moment, that's where it is, and that's what it's doing. Anyway, as always, enjoy to be here and to chat with you for a while and tell you a story. Yeah, I know we started a new one yesterday. Isn't it interesting? Yeah, it's going to get interesting, but it's a good story that's going to help us grow, learn, and be. Got to remember to do that before I start. But anyway, human moments are allowed, and they always will be. I mean, we are going to have times where we fall flat on our duff. That's what happens. But there's also moments where we walk the mountaintops. Those are amazing. Let me give you something that may sound very, well, I guess there's been a few of those, haven't there? But this one may sound a little out there, but I'll give it to you anyway. You're having a really rough day. It's a bad day. It's worst day ever. Something seems to be pushing you towards, like ending it all, letting it go. So simple. Take those pills, slash your wrists, whatever. And I mean, it's looking palatable compared to anything else. And we all have those moments, regardless if we're going to admit they exist or not. I'm just going to ask you to do one thing before you do anything else. And in fact, I'm going to be praying for every single one that may at some point end up in that space. That you reach out to God and you ask God to bind that spirit that's trying to lead you to death. Just bind it. You may not understand God that much. Maybe you do. Maybe you walk with him, maybe you don't. Doesn't matter to him. He'll leave the 99 and come after the one. You're the one. And you'll find, and this is what I have known to be true for a lot of people, that those thoughts are going to dissipate and you're going to start seeing hope moments show up. Things showing you that you don't really want to do that. Nah, you need to walk away from that. But it also gives you this amazing space of understanding that, wait a minute, something's trying to oppress, take me over, get me to do something that is a permanent thing that I don't need to do. Now I know that's a very deep moment. I get that. But I feel necessary to put it out there. I keep hearing about people that have ended themselves. Doesn't matter, Christian or non-Christian. But I also have moments like I had this morning with someone where they were weeping in joy, trying to understand this care and concern level that God has been doing over them. Awesome. Just remember, if you have those type of thoughts, hopefully you don't ever, but if you do, maybe that's something you could do. It's just very simply reach out to the God that created everything. Ask him to bind that spirit that wants to lead you to death. See what happens. I know. I'm out on a limb now, aren't I? That's all right. God supports the limb. Honest. I know. I'm still, in a sense, adulting. Yes. I'm more of a kid than an adult, I'll admit it. I have a playful nature. But this is serious. I will leave it there. If you wish to contact me to talk to me more, it's eric@starthealing.me. Eric@starthealing.me. It's eric@starthealing.me. And you reach out and I'll send you a link and you can make an appointment and we can talk. That one's without charge. Well, let's get to that story again. It's getting interesting, isn't it? You know, said he'd take the house. That's nice. Um, he'll take a look at that poor generator. Yeah, that could be a thing. And he doesn't like machinery anyway, right? We're learning a few things. He likes steak and eggs. He's having a good time. Uh, after a few bites of his steak and eggs, he realizes it's like a little something, and he looks up and he goes, "Do you have HP, maybe a little bit of ketchup?" "Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't put that out." And she puts out a little thing that has HP and ketchup and this other sauce that she says comes from England. That she gets as boxes of it because it's hard to get, but it's worth it. Everybody likes it. He tries that sauce on a little bit of the steak. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's way better than the other one." I don't know what's all in it, but yeah, that definitely works. He poured a bit of ketchup in, she comes over and she realizes he's gone through most of his toast and gives him a couple more pieces. He goes, "Oh, thank you." He said, "I was going to daub my eggs." "Oh, where did that come from?" He goes, "I've been eating industrial food and things that most people would never think to eat. Let's just put it this way. John would have liked the menu. Uh, John the Baptist. I do say the oddest things. Anyway, this food is excellent. He ends up cleaning it all up. And he goes, "I think the Inuit woman said I had some tools and Jeep was her Jeep. Now my Jeep apparently has some tools. I'll go check and I'll grab the toolbox. Maybe it's there. And if not, I'll have to get some tools, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna go look at your generator. Well, it's good to have during the winter because it, the power can go for months here. You do realize that you're going to be in sun for a while and dark for another. I've been in those spaces both, so it doesn't really, well, for months, so all right. Well, that's good to know. Guess we're in the sun part, yes. I think we'll get dark in soon. hmm And he goes, "Well, I'm gonna go grab the toolbox. That was an amazing breakfast. Thank you for it. I do have a bit of money here I was given for lunch. I can give it to you. I mean," and she waves it off. She goes, "No, no." She said, "When you're finished working on that and you do some stuff with your house, you can come in for lunch." He goes, "Okay, thank you." And he goes off and he looks at the generator and he goes, "Whoa." It's an old World War II diesel generator running on, aha, yeah, exactly what I thought it was running on. Filtered fry grease from the restaurant. Yeah, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Called recycling. Well, this is going to take a couple hours, maybe more. But before I do that, I have this inkling that I should go check out the house. So he uh he goes in and he says the key. She goes, "Ah, you're in a different type of world now. That door shuts. That's good." Okay. So he goes up and opens the door and he finds a 25-gallon drum. stove, some bricks inside the stove, but most of them are burned through. It's going to need some work too, as he thought. And yeah, the house is a bit cold. There's an army cot that looks like it had better days, needs a few bolts tightened, and a few chip bowls in the cupboard, and a cup that used to have a handle. Well, that'll work. Uh, and an old-fashioned percolating pot. Oh my goodness, you put that on the stove, and yeah, I can make a good cup of joe. All right. Um, oh, some tea bags too. In a sealed container that looks like it's mostly sealed. This'll be good. As he wanders around, he goes, yep, yep, I need to get some wood and some bricks. But first, let's go get that generator done. And he's walking back down, and he realizes he's going to need to, but he's laughing at himself. The sun's up. He said it doesn't go down for months. I don't have to worry about anything. He said I'll be able to see and cut down a few deaders and get a fire going after I find a few bricks, which imagine the lady will know where to go. But anyway, let's get this thing working again. So about 3 hours later, she walks out and goes, "You hungry? A little bit. Wow." And he said, "Please don't move anything. I can get all back together as long as nobody moves it." I found a tarp in the Jeep and the tools I needed, and I've got it all pulled down. I'm cleaning it all up. It's going to take me another few hours, but that's all right. Sun doesn't move, right? I'm getting used to this. And I'll have it all back together before I go up and get some dead ends. And do you know where there's some bricks? Because the bricks are burned through in that 25-gallon drum that's being used as a stove up there. You might want to check the piping too, and I have some of that laying around somewhere. One of the sheds I have. I'll get you a notion of where that stuff is after you get finished there. But if you want to come in for lunch, you can. Just a simple um, Italian wedding soup and some bread, but it'll fill you up. He said, "Yeah, just give me a minute." Oh, look at that. There's that stuff for cleaning your hands for when you're working on diesel. Yay, that's good. Wipes himself down and finds a runoff of in the back behind the place. And rinses his hands off and walks in and has his soup. His soup is amazing. He said, "You got to understand, I've been living on, like I said, things that John would understand, the menu type things. So this is food, you know." She said, "For some reason, I didn't put any celery in." He goes, "For some reason, I don't think I'm supposed to eat it." And she goes, "Well, that's good. I don't get it very often anyway. It's not my favorite food either. So that works for me." And he had a nice bowl of it, and she gave him another bowl, and he ate that down too. It was yummy. And oh my goodness, he was doing the mmm. She laughed. She said, "You're like that floating dog." He goes, "Yeah, I vaguely remember that from childhood. You did go through 15 years of it, didn't you?" That's what I said, yeah. She goes, "Don't worry." She said, "You'll be better. God will get you through." I understand that. I imagine that you said there was a church here on Sunday. Yeah, I'm the preacher. Okay, that's good. Look forward to your preaching. Well, about that. This Sunday I won't be here. I've got some other places to go to speak God's word, but I know you're a Christian. How about you? I don't even know if I have a Bible. I usually do. It's in my duffel, but I don't know if it made it. Uh, well, I'll be. He went looking up. He goes, yeah, that should been okay because that's a waterproof duffel, but I don't know how it stayed with me. God and His miracles. That's another one. Yeah, I got a Bible. I'll speak something for you. I don't know how many people show up. Oh, about 15 or 20, actually. Uh, the only thing that doesn't get much use is the bar. Every once in a while, the miners come in and have a drink, but they understand the rules. No drunk, just drink. One drink. Make them feel good, warm them up, have some good food, no rowdiness, music sometimes. The pipes up, well, I don't sing, but can play a drum. Not the drums, that good, but I can play a drum. I even be able to make one of those at some point. I've had some wood. Anyway, I'm babbling on and I need to get back out there before somebody finds that and moves something and then I'll be a mess. She said, don't worry. She said, I put out the word to anyone around here not to touch it. You're fixing it. And that's good. He said, out he went and he got there and he looked at it and he cleaned every piece. It was a wire brush and he scrubbed it down, got rid of all that burn off and was looking in the toolbox. He said, of course, because I need rings for this thing. They're sitting in there. Oh yeah, I need a new seal for that. Yep, it's there. I need a filter. Yep, there, right there in that toolbox. Of course, God would have everything in that toolbox I require. That's how this works, isn't it? I'm learning, growing, being. About 9 o'clock at night, he had finished putting that thing back together and had turned it over and he double filtered and she was only single filtering and he created a new filtering system that would allow him to have to work on that less. We got it all working. There was one cracked piston that he knew needed to be replaced, but he had seen an old D7 when he was going past that was way past his prime. And had been yanked and pulled and pieces are off it and the tracks were gone, but that might have a piston in it, and if it did, it could be adapted. And if not, he might end up using the whole engine, but that's another day, but this will work, I said. Um, I remember my mom teaching me how to braze weld, and that weld should hold for a while. Boy, memories, he said. She came out and she goes, nobody's coming in for drinks, so I made pot roast with potatoes and carrots and onions, and you're welcome to some. Wow, is that working? He flicked a button. She goes, oh, that hasn't worked in forever. I don't even think that my mom had that privilege of just flicking a button. It was like beat it over the head with a hammer kind of thing. And he goes, oh, it's working now. He said, it needs a new piston, but I know where to get one. There's an old D7 up there. If nobody minds me yanking parts out of it, or I might take the whole engine out, but I'd have to figure out how to lift it. Oh, they don't care about that. They've written that off on insurance. It went over the side and broke something too expensive to fix. He goes, oh, I might be able to get that running. He goes, why am I saying that? She said, if you could, he said the company would pay you for it quite well, by the way. He goes, wow, more finances flowing in. He said, sure, I'll have some of that pot roast, but before that, can you show me where those bricks are? And she said, certainly. She said, she wandered up and she said, I think it's in shed number 2. Check that. If not, shed number 3 will definitely have them. And the stovepipes are there. I would advise you to change those out too. So I think I know what I'm doing with this. And so she was right. It was in shed number two. And he opened it and found a few fire bricks, and there was a box of them, and took that box and wandered it up. It was a bit heavy, but hey, it had been hauling stuff around. He's going to sleep well tonight when he does, because it was now turning more like 11 o'clock at night. Still beautiful sun out there. You noticed that the house had really no windows. One window up there, but it was closed off. Ah, yeah, I get it. He said, but I don't go crazy for these things at all. So he said, well, put the bricks in and looked at it and he said, that's a firebox. Gonna work. I'm gonna need some, oh yeah, look at that. Toolbox. Muffler cement. Right there. That's what I need. Gets a few of the bricks on the side into place. He's got a nice firebox. And he looks at the pipes. Yeah, they're rusted out. They're done. Let's leave it there. I know, right in the middle of fixing the stove, but we have to do that sometimes. Don't worry, we'll start off right there and we'll get the stove fixed and he'll fix the bed. And yeah, it's gonna happen. But there's stories involved in this. So you just have to hold on. Let's have a blessing. Let's just have God give you a blessing. Of course, it's going to be joy and peace and abundance because God likes those things. It'll be much more than that. And it'll be shaped for you in such a way that you'll be like, wow, this is just truly a blessing from God that God painted for just me. Yes. And that can be yours according to his will and wish, according to your will and wish. That can be. Let's have a word of prayer. We come before you, Father, Spirit, Son, and we are incredibly grateful for all that you do. And yes, that little piece of wisdom may feel just a little deeper than usual. But God, you know, and you move me. That's what happened. So I ask you to push back the darkness and let these people see you, either for the first time or for the 100th time. It doesn't matter. Deeper, stronger, more connected. We thank you for all that you're doing and all the ways that you do it. We just leave it in your care and we ask for the courage and strength to carry out the day and the grace and mercy as we go. And we say thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, standing in awe and honor, respect, allowing all glory to flow, Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. Amen. So you have an amazing day. When you rest, rest well. When you wake, wake well. And know that your path is well lit by God. Blessings.